Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to this Day 8, Session 2 of Kritya International Poetry Festival. Today we have with us a wonderful array of poets from across the world. First of all, I would welcome Kedar Mishra, Hassan Airkick from Turkey, Azhagiya Periyavan sir from India, Ashraf Aboul-Yazid is joining us from Egypt, Anesce Dremen from USA, Ajay Varma Alluri from India, and Vibharani Ji from India. It is my privilege to now invite our festival director, Rati Saxena ma'am, for her opening words for this session. Over to you, Rati ma'am.
Good morning, friends. Good evening, friends. For some country, it is good morning, but it is good evening in my country. Welcome to you, such a wonderful session. We have poets from different languages. Ashraf, who writes in Arabic, but he belonged to Egypt. So that language of him is Egyptian language also. Anis, she is now in Northeast. She belonged to China and she lived in US, but she has many languages in her blood. I'm happy to invite Periyan sir also because he is from Tamil. Tamil is one of the oldest language of India with very great tradition. Kedarji belong to Maharashtrian Marathi language, and he is fantastic poet in contemporary Maharashtrian language. Vibha Ji is fantastic theatre artist, film artist, poet, and whatnot, and healer, and doing many things. Fantastic lady, wonderful. Thank you, Vibha Ji. And Ajay is a young poet who we will be reading in Telugu. So we have many Indian languages. When we say India, we have Tamil, Telugu, Maharashtrian, and Hindi. And from internationally, we have Turkey and Arabic from Egypt. And yes, Anis is reading in English, but she has many languages background. Friends, you know that Kritya was started in 2005 and it was the first nomadic poetry festival. We used to go to different part of India with our festival and we used to translate and sing our poetry in many languages. It is 15 years almost, this is 15 poetry festival. Kritya is the only festival which is nomadic and only festival which does not believe in sitting on the stage and reading for a great audience and so-called hi-fi audience. We used to go to from 15 and 17 last two festivals, go to hospitals, orphanage, villages, schools, colleges, and even prisons. And I tell you that the way they care for poetry, the way they love to poetry, no one else. In this pandemic time, we had 10 days very strong, a very good poetry festival, but that was recorded festival. And then we have 3 days Central American Poetry Festival. In this, Ashraf was actually supporting us, Kritya. And Ashraf was with Kritya and still he is. He has many things to do, but he is still with Kritya. And we were doing together so many things like translating each other. And so 75 talks were there with the musicians, singers, dancers, the poets, even the political issues, journalists, and historians even. So we had many issues for 75 talks, then many translation workshop kind things, and then we had a second wave of pandemic, and we were really hurt, especially in India. Not a single family was there who did not affect with this pandemic. So we were quiet for 1 month. We mourned for 1 month, and then we came back with Kritya as a poetry therapy. So this is the 8 day. This is the we have 20 sessions, so you can say that we have 60. This is the 16th session. We have wonderful poets and wonderful poetry, and let us awake poetry as a therapy, and let us start today's session. Over to you, Pooja. Thank you very much. I will be in background to take like a curtain raiser and curtain puller. So I will be at background and listening you all. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Rati ma'am, for being such a wonderful captain of this ship. Uh, Charles Baudelaire once said, always be a poet, even in prose. So, with that thought, I will first invite Kedar Mishra. He writes poetry primarily in the Indian language Oriya. He's a well known editor, translator, journalist, scholar, art critic, human rights worker, and cultural activist. He has published 5 poetry collections in Oriya, 2 collections of prose, 3 books in English, and several of his works are widely translated into various global languages. He is a former member of the Odisha Sahitya Academy and has been awarded several notable awards for his remarkable poetry. Welcome, Kedar Mishra ji. Please read for us.
Inviting to this festival. Somehow, I'm not a Marathi poet. I'm a Uriya poet. I write in Uriya, and my place is called Odisha. So I'm reading my first poem. It is called Bhato Gita, the song of rice. ଫିମ୍ପି ମରା ପେଟର ବ୍ୟଥା କୁହାଯାଇ ପାରିଛି ଯାର କବିତାରେ ସେ କବିଙ୍କୁ ମୋର ଜୁହାର। ଫିମ୍ପି ମରା ପେଟର ବ୍ୟଥା କୁହାଯାଇ ପାରିଛି ଯାର କବିତାରେ ସେ କବିଙ୍କୁ ମୋର ଜୁହାର ଭୋକି ଲୋକ ପାଇଁ ରାଜରାସ୍ତାରେ ଚିତ୍କାର କରୁଥିବା ଲାଲ ପତାକା ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଢିମା ଢିମା ଆଖିର ଡାହାଳିଆ ଶାସକ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଭୋକକୁ ବିକ୍ରି କରି ପେଟ ବଢଉଥିବା ଅକ୍ଷରର ବେପାରୀ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ମୋର ଜୁହାର ଗାଁ ଖୁଲିରେ ବେଦନାର ଗୀତ ଗାଉଥିବା ଚାରଣ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଧର୍ମ ଶିଖେଇବାକୁ ଆସୁଥିବା ଚକୁଳିଆ ପଣ୍ଡାଙ୍କୁ ପାଠ ପଢିଲେ ସବୁ କଥା ସମାଧାନ ହେଇଯିବାର ଲୋଭ ଦେଖାଉଥିବା ସ୍କୁଲ ମାଷ୍ଟରଙ୍କୁ ମୋର ଜୁହାର ପିଲା ବିକ୍ରି କରିଥିବା ମହନିଆ ମା ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଗାଁର ଗଅଁତିଆ ପଞ୍ଚାୟତର ସରପଞ୍ଚ ରାଜଧାନୀର ଅଧିକାରୀ ମାନଙ୍କୁ 6 ବର୍ଷର ଲାଗ ମରୁଡି ପରେ ବି ରକ୍ତ ମାଗୁଥିବା କନ୍ଧେନ ବୁଢୀକୁ ମୋର ଜୁହାର ଗୋଦାମ ଘର ଜଗୁଆଳ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ମୂଷା ଉଇ ଶସ୍ୟ ପୋକ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଭୋକ ବିକିବାରେ ଉସ୍ତାଦ ଗୀତିକାର କଥାକାର ସିନେମାକାର ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଜୁହାର ଜୁହାର ଲୋକ କଣ ଜାଣିନଥିବା ଜୁହାର ଭୋକ କଣ ଜାଣିନଥିବା ଭୋକର କଥା କହି କହି ଆକାଶ ଛୁଉଁଥିବା ଗଣତନ୍ତ୍ର ମହାରାଜା ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଜୁହାର ଭୋକର କଥା କହି କହି ଆକାଶ ଛୁଉଁଥିବା ଗଣତନ୍ତ୍ରର ମହାରାଜା ମାନଙ୍କୁ। Now, Pujaji, can you read the English translation?
1 minute. I want to correct my mistake, Kedarji. I'm very sorry. I used Marathi, but yes, you are Uriya poet. I should not forget, but sorry. Excuse me, please. Forgive me for my mistake.
Absolutely no problem. Please.
So now I will read the English translation of Kedar Mishra's first poem, A Song for Rice. I salute to those poets on whose poetry The pain of empty bellies has been revealed. I salute those red banners who shout for hungry masses, to those red-eyed rulers, to those merchants of letters who survived on selling hunger. I salute to those bards singing on the village street, to the sermon preacher, the teacher who lecture on reading and writing. I salute. I salute to that woman who barters her baby, to the village headmen, the officers from the capital, to the village deity who still demands for blood after a series of famine. I salute to the watchmen of storehouses, to the destructive insects, to those poets and filmmakers who are great in selling hunger. My salute to those who know nothing about hunger, and also to those who become kings in a democracy, lecturing on hunger. I salute, really, I salute. This has been translated by the poet. Kedarji, next poem, please.
Thank you, Jaji. My next poem is Kote Kavitar Jivan, Life of a Poem. ସକାଳ ଆଉ ନଥିବାର ଏକ ରାତି, ସରୁ ନଥିବା ଅନ୍ଧାର, ଡହ ଡହ ଘାରେ ଭରା ଏକ ରାତି। ଜହ୍ନ ତାରା ଜହ୍ନି ଫୁଲ ହୁଳହୁଳି ହରିବୋଲ ଲିଭି ଲିଭି ଆସୁଥିବାର ଗୋଟେ ଭୟାନକ ରାତି। ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ ନାହିଁ ବନ୍ଧୁଗଣ, ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ ନାହିଁ ବନ୍ଧୁଗଣ, କେଉଁ ଜାଗା ଇଏ, କେଉଁ ରାତି, କେଉଁ ଅନ୍ଧାର। ଆଲକାତ୍ରା ଅନ୍ଧାରରେ ହଜିଯାଇଥିବା ଏ ଗାଁ, ଏ ପାହାଡ଼, ଏ ସମୁଦ୍ର କୂଳ, ମାଟି ଉପରୁ ଲିଭି ଯାଉଥିବା ନଦୀର ଗାର। ପଚାର ନାହିଁ ଏ ଅନ୍ଧାର ଗିଳି ଯାଉଛି କାହା କାହା ଘର। କେହି ଖବର ରଖିନାହାନ୍ତି କାହାର, ଯାଇଛି କାଦୁଅ ଭିତରେ ପୋତି ହେଇଯାଇଛି ଦଧିବାମନଙ୍କର ନୀଳଚକ୍ର ନେତ। ଯାଇଛି ଉଆଁସର ପେଟ ଭିତରେ ଗୋଳେଇ ମିଳେଇ ଯାଇଛି ସତ୍ୟନାରାୟଣ ପାଲାର ଝାଞ୍ଜ ଓ ମୃଦଙ୍ଗ। ଜମି ଉପରେ କଅଁଳୁଥିବା କିଆରି କିଆରି ବାସ୍ନା, ନଡ଼ିଆ ଗଛରେ କଖାରୁ ଫାଳିଆ ଜହ୍ନ, କେହି ନାହାନ୍ତି ଆଉ। ହୋ ବାଟ ବୁଲଉଥିବା ବିଚକ୍ଷଣ ଈଶ୍ୱର, ହୋ ବାଟ ବୁଲଉଥିବା ବିଚକ୍ଷଣ ଈଶ୍ୱର, ଏ କେଉଁ ଅନ୍ଧାରକୁ ଟାଣି ଆଣିଛ ମତେ, କଳା ପୋଷାକ ପିନ୍ଧେଇ ଛାଡ଼ି ଦେଇଛ ମତେ ଏ କେଉଁ ଗହନ ଉଆଁସରେ, ସେଇଟା କ'ଣ ତମର ବୈକୁଣ୍ଠ? ସେ କିଛି ଉତ୍ତର ଦେବେ ନାହିଁ ବନ୍ଧୁଗଣ। ଏଇଠୁ ଫେରି ମୁଁ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କ ଆଗରେ ଗୋଟେ କବିତା ପଢ଼ିବି, ଯାହା ମୋର ଆଖି କୋଣରୁ ଥପ୍ ଥପ୍ ଥିପି ପଡ଼ିବ 7 ମିନିଟ୍ ଯାଏ। ମୋ ଲାଗି ଜୀବନ ବୋଇଲେ ପୃଥିବୀରେ ମାତ୍ର ସେଇ 7 ମିନିଟ୍। ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରନ୍ତୁ ବନ୍ଧୁଗଣ, ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରନ୍ତୁ ବନ୍ଧୁଗଣ, ସେଇ 7 ମିନିଟ୍ ହିଁ ଆମ ପୃଥିବୀର ଏକମାତ୍ର ନିର୍ଭରଯୋଗ୍ୟ ଇତିହାସ। ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରନ୍ତୁ ବନ୍ଧୁଗଣ, ସେଇ 7 ମିନିଟ୍ ହିଁ ଆମ ପୃଥିବୀର ଏକମାତ୍ର ନିର୍ଭରଯୋଗ୍ୟ ଇତିହାସ। ପ୍ଲିଜ୍ ପୂଜାଜୀ।
Ji, thank you. The life of a poem. A night without the possibilities of mornings, darkness with no end in sight. A night in which the moon, the stars drift into nothingness, set to the fading tunes of ululations and haribol. Friends, you will not ask me for specificities. You will not ask me which place is this, which night, which darkness. You will not ask whose house this darkness is gobbling up, the lines of which river disappear from the earth. No one knows what all has been lost. The top of the temple of Dadibaman lies buried in mud. The beats of Satyanarayan's songs lie digested within the entrails of dark, moonless nights. The moon has since long been absconding from its usual place, over the heads of tender coconut fronds. O God of beguilements, who have made us forget our paths and wear dark clothes, is this your private heaven? Where have you dragged me in this darkness? He will not answer any question, my friends. After having returned, I'll read a poem for you. This poem will drop from my eyes for 7 minutes, minutes that shall be full expanse of life here. Although it might sound incredible, those 7 minutes are also the only reliable account of our world, of this night and its darkness. translated to English by Celine Rothroy. Next poem, Kedar ji.
Okay, next poem is called Sahin Bagh. Sahin Bagh is a place, before this pandemic, there was a long protest going on. Sahin Bagh. ନିଆଁ ଜଳୁଥିବା ସେ ରାସ୍ତାରେ ଆମକୁ ଯିବାକୁ ହେବ ବଗିଚାକୁ। ବଗିଚା ମାନେ ହେଇପାରେ ସାହିନ ବାଗ ଅବା ଏକାମ୍ର କାନନ, ହେଇପାରେ ରାଷ୍ଟ୍ରପତି ନିବାସର ମୁଗଲ ଗାର୍ଡେନ ଅବା ଶ୍ରୀନଗରର ଲାଲ ଚୌକ। ବଗିଚା ମାନେ ହେଇପାରେ ବି ଲକ୍ଷ ଲକ୍ଷ ଲୋକଙ୍କର କ୍ରୋଧରେ ତିଆରି ଏକ ଲୋହିତ ଆନ୍ଦୋଳନ। ଆମକୁ ଯିବାକୁ ହେବ ସେ ବଗିଚାକୁ। ଜାଣିଛୁ, ମୁଁ ତୋର ହାତ ଧରି ଯେତେ ଯେତେ ଆଗକୁ ଯାଉଛି, ସେତେ ସେତେ ନିଆଁ ଜଳୁଛି ରାସ୍ତାରେ। ଆମ ଆଗରେ ଜଳୁଛି ବସ୍ତି ଓ ସହର, ଆମ ଆଗରେ ଫୁଟୁଛି ଗୁଳି ଓ ହାତ ବୋମା, ଆମ ଆଗରେ ରକ୍ତାକ୍ତ ଶବମାନଙ୍କର ଏକ ନୀରବ ପଟୁଆର। ତୋ ଭିତରେ ଯେତିକି ଭୟ, ମୋ ଭିତରେ ବି ସେତିକି। ତୁ ଯେତିକି ଲୁହ ଓ ଲହୁରେ ଓଦା ସରସର, ସେତିକି ବ୍ୟାକୁଳ ମୁଁ। ତୁ ପଚାରୁଛୁ, ଏ ନିଆଁ କ'ଣ ସତରେ ଲିଭିବ ନାହିଁ? ଆମେ କ'ଣ ସତରେ ପହଞ୍ଚି ପାରିବା ନାହିଁ ଆମର ବଗିଚାରେ? ମୁଁ ତୋର ହାତ ଧରି ସେହି ସମାନ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ପଚାରୁଛି ଆମ ଲମ୍ବି ଯାଇଥିବା ରକ୍ତ ଓ ନିଆଁର ରାସ୍ତାକୁ। ଜାଣେ, କେବେ ଦିନେ ନିଆଁ ଆମକୁ ବି ପୋଡ଼ିଦେବ। ଆମେ ବି କେବେ ଦିନେ ପଡ଼ି ରହିବା କେଉଁ ପୋଲିସ ଛାଉଣୀରେ ବେୱାରିଶ ଲାଶ ପରି। ହୁଏତ କେବେ ଦିନେ କେହି ଜଣେ ଦେଶର ମାଟିରେ ଆମକୁ କହିଦେବ ଦେଶଦ୍ରୋହୀ, ଆମର କିନ୍ତୁ ଖାତିର କରିବାର ନାହିଁ। ଆମେ ଭଲ ପାଇଛୁ ଓ ଭଲ ପାଇବାର ପୃଥିବୀରେ ବଞ୍ଚିଛୁ। ଆମେ ବଗିଚା ମାନେ ବୁଝିଛୁ ଫୁଲ ଫୁଟିବାର ସ୍ୱାଧୀନତା ଓ ମଣିଷ ଏକମାତ୍ର ସତ୍ୟକୁ ଯେମିତି ହେଲେ ବି ପହଞ୍ଚିବାର ଅଛି ସ୍ୱାଧୀନତାର ସେ ବଗିଚାରେ ଆମକୁ। ସେ ବଗିଚାରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିବାକୁ ଯେତେ ନିଆଁ, ଯେତେ ଗୁଳି, ଯେତେ ବାରୁଦ, ସବୁକିଛିକୁ ସାମ୍ନା କରିବାର ସାହସ କେବଳ ଧରିଛି ତୋର ହାତ ମୁଠାରେ। ସେଥିଲାଗି ସାରା ଜୀବନ ମୁଁ କେବଳ ତୋର ପ୍ରେମରେ, ସେଥିଲାଗି ସାରା ଜୀବନ କେବଳ ମୁଁ ତୋର ପ୍ରେମରେ। पूजा जी।
जी शुक्रिया। शाहीन बाग। आग की राह पार करते हुए हम उस उद्यान तक पहुंच सकते हैं। कौन सा उद्यान है ये? शाहीन बाग या मेरे शहर का एक मरा कानन या फिर राष्ट्रपति भवन का मुगल गार्डन हो सकता है, अथवा हो सकता है कि ये श्रीनगर का लाल चौक हो। ये एक आंदोलन भी हो सकता है। लाखों नर नारियों के गुस्से से उपजा हमें उस बगीचे तक पहुंचना है। हम हाथ थामे जितना उस बगीचे के करीब पहुंचेंगे, उतना ही राह पर आग को देखेंगे। हमारा शहर और कच्ची बस्तियां जलकर राख हो गईं। बंदूकों और बमों का क्रंदन सुनाई दे रहा है। घायल लाशों का मौन जुलूस मेरे और तुम्हारे साथ चल रहा है। हम दोनों ही भयभीत हैं। जितनी तुम्हारी आंखें बरस रही हैं, उतना ही अधीर मेरा दिल है। तुम जानना चाहती हो कि क्या ये आग हमेशा की तरह बुझ नहीं जाएगी? क्या हम अपने बगीचे तक नहीं पहुंच पाएंगे? मैं यही सवाल आग और खून की इस राह से करता हूँ। मुझे मालूम है कि किसी दिन ये आग तुम्हें और मुझे लील जाएगी। हो सकता है किसी दिन हम किसी अनजाने पुलिस स्टेशन में फेंक दिए जाएं लाश के रूप में। हो सकता है कि वे हमें देशद्रोही कहें, हालांकि हम अपने देश के दिल में रहते हैं। लेकिन हमें फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि वे क्या कहते हैं। हम प्रेम में हैं और प्रेम के उपग्रह में रहते हैं। हमारे लिए उद्यान का मतलब है स्वतंत्रता का खिलना। ये उद्यान ही हमारा अंतिम लक्ष्य है, सच्ची मानवता के हित में। हमें किसी तरह अपनी संपूर्ण स्वतंत्रता की ओर पहुंचना है। वहां पहुंचने के लिए हमें आग और बंदूक का सामना करना पड़े, लेकिन प्रिया, तुम मेरी ताकत हो। तुमने ही मुझे इस राह पर चलना सिखाया। इस आग की राह पर चलना ही हमारा प्यार है प्रिया। Hindi translation by Rati Saxena ji. And the last poem by Kedar ji is originally written by him in English, a very short poem, a song for democracy. We the people walk inside an indisposed file. From table to table, from hand to hand, from darkest streets to blood-stained border, from non-existent jungle of revolution to pregnant mines of power, We the people. We the people walk united to discover an insignia of void. We the people declare that we are no more dead pages of a book called the Constitution. We know how the words talk in the language of thunder. We know how you love to suck our blood, and we know where the bloodsuckers live. Here, we the people, waiting for the sun to rise in the west. Truly, words of thunder. Thank you, Kedarji. Thank you for bringing your poetry to Kritya. Next, now
Thank you,
I will
Pooja ji.
invite.
Thank you, Rati ji, once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next up, I will now invite Hassan Airkick. He's a poet, a playwright, and was a professor of drama, has served as the head of the Department of Performing Arts at Anadolu University. He has been awarded more than 20 national and international prizes, has published 26 artistic and scientific books in 14 countries, and some of his poems have even been composed by different composers from different countries. His plays have been performed by 40 theaters from across the world, and he writes for radio, film scripts, and whatnot. So, welcoming the very accomplished Hassan Airkick. Welcome, Hassan.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for nice presentation, nice words. And first of all, I congratulate you for this great festival, and thank you for invitation. Actually, peace is very important for developing and undeveloped countries, particularly like bread and water for us. You know, poetry and peace, they are two wings of the life. They are flying together. So I'm going to read in Turkish. I think you read in English.
Yeah.
Okay. Aşkın tatlı ninnisi. Her sabah gel böyle kapıma. Ekmek ve çiçek kokularıyla. Tatlı bir mırıltı ol, süzül içeri. Ufala odadaki hüznü. Okşa dalgın dargın kitapları. Silkinip uyansınlar aşka. Küçük bir fırça darbesiyle bir damla mutluluk kondursam dudaklarına, öptükçe çoğalıp bedenine dağılsa. Düşlerimden yastık yapsam sırtına, sesinin en sevinçli yerine salıncak kursam, sevgiden aşka salınıp dursam. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet Lullaby of Love. This I will read in Hindi. प्यार की मीठी लोरी. दस्तक दो हर रोज सुबह मेरे दर पर, ताजी रोटी और फूलों की महक के साथ. मधुर गुनगुनाहट बन हम भीतर सरकें, कमरे की उदासी को घुला दें, आक्रोश और चिंतन भरी किताबों को सहलाएं, प्यार से उन्हें झकझोरें और जगाएं. क्या कहोगे तुम यदि मैं एक बूंद खुशी तुम्हारे होठों पर टपका दूं? पसरने दो इस खुशी को तुम्हारी देह में. यदि मैं अपने सपने को तुम्हारे टेक लगाने का तकिया बना दूं, तुम्हारी आवाज के जीवंत कोने में झूला लगा दूं, जिस पर मैं प्यार जुनीन के साथ हिंडोले लूं. Beautiful Hindi translations of Hassan poems by Rati Saxena ji. Next poem, Hassan.
Thank you. It sounds very nice. Thank you. The second poem is Painted Birds in Turkish. Boyalı kuşlar. İki boyalı kuştuk. Boyasız kuşların elinden, ayrı mutsuzluk kadehlerinden içmiştik. İki boyalı kuştuk. Vurup kadehlerimizi birbirine, şarabi bir düşte seviştik. İki boyalı kuştuk. Zaman dışı sayılan anlık bir mutluluğun üzerine üşüştük. İki boyalı kuştuk. renkleri birbirini tutmayan ayrı maviliklere uçtuk. Yeah.
Thank you. Painted birds, चित्रित पंछी. हम दो पंछी हैं चित्रित. पीड़ा के अलग अलग प्यालों से पीते हुए उन पंछियों के द्वारा बनाए गए जिन्हें चित्र खींचना भी नहीं आता. हम दो पंछी हैं चित्रित. अपनी पीड़ाओं की कड़ियों को एक दूसरे से जोड़ते हुए, वाइन से रंगे सपनों में प्रेम करते हुए, हम दो पंछी हैं चित्रित. माने जाते हैं कालातीत, क्षण भंगुर सुख से बहुत ऊपर, हम दो पंछी हैं चित्रित. अनमेल रंगों से रंगे हुए, भिन्न भिन्न नीलाभ की ओर उड़ान भरते हुए, हम दो पंछी हैं चित्रित. Translated by Rati Saxena Ji. Next poem, Hassan.
Thank you. Next poem is Limits Are Limits, or Limits. Sınırlar sınırlar. İnsan dağlara aşar da ruhuyla karşılaşır dar kavşaklarda. Dağ gibi dikilir kendi önüne. Bir nehir olur, ulaşır denizlere de bir damla olup damlayamaz yaralarına. Kuruyup gider kendi çölünde. Gemileri yakar, uçurur köprüleri ama yıkamaz aklının duvarlarını. Yapışır yakasına kendi eliyle. Ateşi küllenir, şarkısı susar, yolu biter. Gelip kendine yaslanır sonunda. Daldırır elini kendi içine, umudu arar en derininde. Yeah.
Thank you. Limits, limit. This I will read in English.
Yes.
You may surmount the mightiest peak, only to face your soul where tiny streets meet. Towering before you like a mountain, you turn into a river that rushes to the sea. Yet, the drop you become is no remedy for your wounds. You dry up in your own desert, you burn ships, blow up bridges, only to buttonhole yourself with your own hand, unable to bring down the walls of your mind. Your fire reduces to ashes, your song heard no more, your path complete. You end up leaning on yourself, reaching into yourself, searching for hope in your depths. The next poem, The Bleeding Wings of a Love, I shall read only in English. I feel asleep in your soft foliage. In my dream, you drank my spirit dry. I awoke to hear your bark swelling. For us, I foresaw an endless garden. You mowed down the flowers with your eyelashes, leaving me with nothing but arid roots. Together we would raise a sea. I thought you gathered the water in your skirts and dragged it away. I was drenched in the fourth, white no more, on moonless nights. I scanned your eyes for a star with poignant words. You probed my softest spots. I raked up my heart's shards with my naivety. And here I am. Here I am on the bleeding wings of a love you wrote me off long ago. After all, I have turned the page on you once and for all and opened up to poetry. English translations are by Jonathan Ross and Numan Kilik. Thank you so much, Hassan, for such evocative images and brilliant poetry.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Next up, I have the privilege of inviting Azhagiya Periyavan, a well-known Tamil writer from India. His writings depict oppressed life in a fine texture of language with emotions. He is well known for his short stories, poems, novels, essay, columns, and he has 7 short story collections, 4 novels, 4 poetry collections, and several essay collections. His novel Thagappan Kodi and poetry collection Unnakam Enakuma Soul have got the Tamil Nadu State Government's award for best books. He was selected for Periyar Award in 2013. Welcome, Periyavan sir. Excuse my pronunciation of Tamil words. We would love to hear your poetry.
First of all, I want to congratulate the festival organizers and the greetings to my fellow poets from the land of Thiruvalluvar, Ilangovadigal, Kambar and Avvai. விளக்கை ஏற்றுவதன் மகிழ்ச்சியை அனுபவித்ததுண்டா? இருள் எல்லாவற்றையும் சமநிலைக்கு கொண்டு செல்கிறது. இருளுக்குள் இயக்கம் கூட சமநிலைதான். ஒளியின் கீற்றெடுத்து விளக்கை பொருத்தியவுடன் இருள் புறமுதுகிடுகிறது. ஒளி தனது பரப்பை விரிக்க எல்லைகளில் இருளோடு ஓயாது சமர்ப்புரிகிறது. ஒளியுடன் இழைந்து பொலிகிறது அவ்விடம். ஏற்றித்தான் பாரேன் ஒரு விளக்கை உன் சொற்களை கொண்டு. Yeah, translation please.
Thank you, sir. The first poem, Light a Lamp, English translations D. Venkat Ramanan. Light a lamp. Have you ever experienced joy in lighting a lamp? Darkness snatches everything, a corpse-like state. Even movement within darkness is motionless corpse. Like once, streaks of light light a lamp. Darkness retreats. A widening expanse, light keeps warring with darkness at boundaries tirelessly. Light, blended that spot sparkles. Light a lamp. Why don't you, with your words, light a lamp? Next poem, please.
This poem is about a woman cycling. Woman in this poetry poem is a symbol. மிதிவண்டியில் ஒரு பெண், நெரிசலான சாலையில் வேகமாக மிதிவண்டியில் போகிறாள் ஒரு பெண். உயரம் குறைவாகவும் குறுகிய இருக்கையோடும் அவளுக்கென்று பிரத்யேகமாக வடிவமைக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது அம்மிதிவண்டி. ஊசி முனையில் அமர்ந்திருப்பதைப் போல் அதில் அமர்ந்திருக்கிறாள். வாகன ஒலிப்பான்கள் அவள் காதருகே ஒலிக்கின்றன. அவள் கவனம் திருட ஊதல்கள் இடைவிடாது பாடுகின்றன. வேறு சக்கரங்கள் இடைவெளி குறைத்து மோதி உரசுகின்றன. விழாமல் இருக்கும் பொருட்டு அவள் ஊன்றும் கால்கள் சாலையில் வேர்களைப் போல் துளைக்கின்றன. வேகத்தடைகளும் வளைவுகளும் திருப்பங்களும் கொண்ட சாலையில் துப்பட்டாவினால் பின்தொடர்ந்து வருகின்றவனின் முகம் மறைந்து வேகமாய் போகிறாள் மிதிவண்டி பெண். Yeah.
Thank you. A woman. Gee, thank you. A woman on a bicycle. On a crowded road, a woman cycles by, quickly, short, with a narrow seat, that cycle, tailor-made for her. She's sitting on it, a needle's point. Vehicle horns blare near her ears, whistles sing incessantly. Other vehicles almost dash, brush close by. Her legs, planted to avoid falling, bore into the road like roots. On the speed breakers, curves and turn-filled roads, her dupatta slapping the fellow following her. She rushes by, the bicycle woman. Next poem, please.
Thank you. என் முத்தாத்தன் தீட்டிய பாறை ஓவியங்களின் கீழ் அமர்ந்து நான் எழுதும் இந்த கவிதை காற்றுடன் சலியாது பேசி வெயிலில் விதையாய் உலர்ந்து பெருமழையில் நனையட்டும். அடர் வனத்திடையே பாறை சித்திரங்கள் ஒளிவது போல் உரையட்டும் சொற்களின் பொருள். அந்த பாறையில் வந்தமரும் பறவைகளின் குரலில் இழையட்டும் அதன் ரகசியம். இரவு தன் எல்லா கண்களையும் திறந்து படிக்கட்டும் அதன் உயிரை. அவன் சித்திரத்தில் விம்மி எழுந்த மலை நெஞ்சு என் கவிதையில் மேலும் பூரிக்கட்டும். ஆடுகளையும் மாடுகளையும் சுனைக்கு பத்திவிட்டு பாறையடியில் படுத்து புணர்ந்த இடைச்சோடிகள் சொக்கின் உச்சத்தில் விழி சொருக உணரட்டும் இக்கவிதைகளை. விலங்குகளும் பறவைகளும் அப்பேறு விரட்டும். மனசில் காடு அடர்ந்து திரியும் எவனோ ஒருவனை தீண்டட்டும் இக்கவிதை. Yeah.
Thank you. My poem. This poem I'm writing sitting beneath the rock paintings drawn by my great-grandfather. Let it get wet in the big rain, speaking with the wind incessantly. Let it get wet in the big rain, speaking with the wind incessantly, drying as seeds in the sunlight. Like the rock paintings hiding amidst the dense forests, let the meaning of words freeze. Let its secret bend with the voices of birds alighting on these rocks. Let night open all its eyes and read its life. Let the mountainous heart that arose sobbing replenish more in my poem. Chasing away goats and sheep to search for water, let the shepherd couple lying beneath the rocks, uniting, eyes closed, in the heights of ecstasy, imbibe the essence of these poems. Let animals and birds get that name. Let this poem strike at someone roaming, a mind filled with the denseness of this forest. Next poem, please.
Thank you. This is about the rain. இரவில் வந்தது மழை. யாரும் அதன் அழைப்பை ஏற்கவில்லை. சன்னல்களும் கதவுகளும் சாத்தி கிடந்தன. துக்கம் அதிகமாகி மாரடித்து புலம்பியது அது. இருட்டின் ஒரு துளியை கூட கரைக்க முடியவில்லை அதனால். இரவெல்லாம் சபித்தபடியும் முணுமுணுத்தபடியும் இருந்தது. காலையில் வாசலில் தேங்கியிருந்த மழையின் கண்ணீரில் நின்றபோது முறுக்கி கொண்ட சிறுமி போல் கால்களை கிள்ளியது அதன் குளிர்ந்த கோபம். Translation, please.
Thank you. What a beautiful poem to read during the monsoons. Rain. The rain arrived at night, none welcomed its call. Windows and doors remained shut, sorrow overflowing, beating its chest, it lamented. It could not melt even a drop of darkness night long. Night long it was cursing and murmuring. In the morning, while standing in the stagnated tears in the doorway, like a little girl stiffening in irritation, its cold anger pinched the legs. Next poem, please.
Thank you. This is a poem about the time. Kala Nadi. நினைவுகள் சுழித்தோடும் வாழ்க்கை. படித்துறைகளில் அமர்ந்து கரைகளை அலசிக்கொள்கிறோம். காயங்களிலிருந்து கசியும் நிணம், கைகளில் உறைந்த குருதி, விழிகளில் வழியும் கண்ணீர், எல்லாமே ஒன்றுதான் கழுவும் நீருக்கு. அடித்த கைகளால் தான் குழந்தையின் கன்னம் வருடுகிறோம். வஞ்சினம் கூறிய உதடுகள் தான் முத்தமிடுகின்றன. கொன்றவர்களாலும் தின்றவர்களாலும் நிறைந்திருக்கிறது ஊர். அடித்து நசுக்கி கொன்ற இரத்த தடத்தின் மீதுதான் சக்கரங்கள் ஓடிக்கொண்டிருக்கின்றன. Translation, please.
A river of life. Life, an eddying whirlpool of memories. Sitting on the steps leading to the pond, we wash our stains. Fat oozing from wounds, blood dried on hands, tears flowing from eyes to the cleansing water. It is all the same. With those same hands, we caress a baby's cheeks, those lips that curse, the same lips also kiss. The place is filled with those who killed, who devoured. It's only over these bloody imprints of those beaten, crushed, and killed. Wheels keep rolling on. Next poem, please.
Thank you. This is the last poetry. சுருக்கு பையிலிருந்து பாட்டி தந்த புகையிலை சுண்ணாம்பு மனம் கொண்ட ஓரணாவை இன்னும் அப்படியே வைத்திருக்கிறேன். ஓரணாவின் ராஜா தலை பாட்டி தலையாகவே மாறிவிட்டது இப்போது. என் குழந்தை வைத்திருக்கும் மரப்பாச்சி நான் வைத்திருந்ததாம். மரப்பாச்சியுடன் குழந்தை விளையாடுகையில் நானும் குழந்தையாகி அதனோடு ஆடுவது போல் உள்ளது. பெண்முகம் போல் இருக்கிறதென எல்லோரும் கேலி செய்த என் விடலை பருவத்து மீசை முளைக்காத புகைப்படத்தை வீசிவிட மனம் இல்லை. ஞாபகங்கள் படிந்திருக்கும் பொருட்களை இழந்துவிட மனம் விரும்புவதில்லை. இறந்த காலம் அப்பிய துண்டுகளுடன் மீதுதான் நிகழ்ந்தபடியுள்ளது வாழ்க்கை. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Past. Past. It is still with me. The tobacco line smelling one Anna. My grandmother handed me from her drawstring purse. The king's head on the one Anna has become Granny's head now. The Marapachi doll my child has now, it's mine. It seems when she plays with it, changing into a child in her hands, it seems I too am playing with it. I hesitate to throw away my photo, teased by all, for its girl-like face, a photo of an adolescent with no traces of any sprouting moustache. The mind doesn't wish to lose memory-smeared things. Life is happening only on pieces dabbed with the past. Thank you so much, Periyavan sir, for sharing these beautiful poems with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. So George Carlin said, everyone smiles in the same language. Now we will smile in Arabic, because next up we have with us Ashraf Aboul-Yazid. He's an Egyptian poet, novelist, and journalist. He's the editor-in-chief at the Silk Road Literature Series. He's been working in cultural journalism for more than 30 years and has authored and translated 35 books. Some of his novels and poetry volumes have been translated into books and anthologies in multiple global languages. He was chosen the Man of Culture for the year 2012 in Tatarstan, Russia. He has the Manhe Prize in Literature in 2014 from the Republic of Korea, and several other awards. So I'm not going to go into the CV. We are here for poetry. So over to you, Ashraf. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all. First poem, تمثيلية. عمر بل أكثر وأنا أصعد نفس المسرح في دور يتكرر أبكي والأبطال جميعا الأصغر والأكبر يشتركون بذبحي والجمهور يصفر لا أحد يسدل أستارا أو حتى يفكر.
Thank you. A play. All English translations I'm reading tonight are by the poet. For a life or more, I'm getting on the same stage to play the same role, weeping, while all the other heroes are slaughtering me. Among the whistling audience, no one to put the curtains down, no one to do so. Next poem, please.
I request you to read Hindi poem also, Hindi translation also.
لما زرت
because
مدرستي القديمة ودخلت صالة الدرس القديمة. كان الولد الجالس فوق مقعد القديم لا يشبهني أبدا إلا أني أحببته.
Okay. The next, sorry ma'am, I do not have the document for the Hindi translation with me right now for this particular poem. I will be reading two other poems in Hindi also. So, love. When I visited my old school and went into my old classroom, the boy who sat on my old desk did not look like me in my childhood. Never. But I loved him. Thank you. Next one, please.
ريفر نهر. لا يختار النهر العابر بين يدي الوادي الحاضر، بل يمضي حتى يأتي البحر فيغسل قدميه المتعبتين.
Shall I read now? Okay. A river. एक नदी हाथों की घाटी से बहती हुई नदी अपने दोस्तों को नहीं चुनती है, चलती और दौड़ती है ये समुद्र तक पहुंचने के लिए जहां वो अपने थके हुए पैर धोती है. Hindi translation by Brajesh Singh. Next poem, please.
شرفة. للشرفة أن تبدو أبعد، أعلى، أقصى، فأنا لن أصعد حتى تأتي.
A balcony. A very short and succinct poem. A balcony. It can be farther, higher, or away. It can be farther, higher, or away. I am not going to climb to it until you appear. Next poem, please.
Next and final poem, it's about كرة. القطة في الشرفة تنتظر الكرة الصوفية وأنا أغزلها بحروف القلب.
Thank you. Such short and beautiful images that Ashraf has brought to us. So this one is a ball. ये मैं हिंदी में पढ़ूंगी. एक गेंद. बिल्ली बालकनी में ऊन के गोले का इंतजार कर रही थी. बिल्ली बालकनी में ऊन के गोले का इंतजार कर रही थी और मैं दिल की रेखाओं और अक्षरों से बुनाई कर रहा था. Hindi translation by Brajesh Singh, edited by Rati Saxena Ji. Thank you so much. Thank you for such brilliant poetry. And it is so brief and yet so evocative.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I will now invite to the dais Anesce Dremen. She is a US poet, travel blogger, and aspiring novelist. She has studied in 4 cities in China, and she has graduated from Carthage College with degrees in Chinese and English literature. Her bilingual works have been featured in reputed addresses like the Xi'an Daily, Shanghai Poetry Labs, Global Tea Hunt, and several others. She is a Fulbright ETA in India and is the international coordinator of the Quarantine Train. Welcome, Anesce.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this stage and this opportunity to practice art and to practice poetry as therapy. Thank you. This first poem is entitled Toxic Relationships. The gentle man strikes you smoothly, tenderly confirming your words as catalyst for his righteous retaliation, bordering the calendar-indented wall. The soft-spoken lover renders you speechless, inciting a drought of grief, exhausting remnants of hope with mocking cruelty. A ginkgo shivers with the shadow of his fist. The enthusiastic woman occupies you swiftly, celebrating her infatuation with eerie devotion, demanding your resisting dedication. Her examination lodged 45 rusted razors. I now fear breathing no. Kindlewood of ambiguity. Did the assaults butcher this body to blame my softly spoken nature? The second poem is entitled Huigan. May I settle into the curve of your memory, unraveling an intangible fragrance, a blush lingering between eyelids, of unspoken certainty, of treasured humanity. Hands do not accompany one another this night, yet unexpressed arousal interlaces these gentle, locked lovers. Will you pause within the frame of my flame, imagination preserved in crumpled papers, tentative emotions awaiting within the satiated drizzle? Here, where almost is sufficient solace. Your restriction composed upon the curve of my lips, encouraging reckless embrace, names merging. This third poem is entitled Before the Fairness Picture Shattered. I condense my home country to an abbreviation as if 3 letters are non-matching socks of the same hue, folded I'll start again. I condense my home country to an abbreviation, as if 3 letters are non-matching socks of the same hue, folded haphazardly within a pair of shoes, hidden inside the lining of a tattered suitcase. The soft walls of a teacup are all I have faith to call home. I pickle disappointment as pages perish. A flicked ant becomes a comma. My body is a crumpled canvas of forgotten calligraphy. It folds neatly as it's steeped with discarded scars and play pretend pigmentation. Friends I cannot hug nurture my grief. My hands ache in reticent punctures. I ignite the kettle, who births a language. And this 4th poem is entitled Our First Dance. I apologize for occupying this body. You deserve to dance with someone refined. Extend the hand to dance and I'll flinch, terrified of being hit again. I fled from mouths wanted and unwanted, beards bruising unwilling breasts. I'll deny compliments of my appearance, fabricating fiction of just more men gaining forged permission to insert tab 8 into slot B. Extend a hand to dance. Again, and I'll accept, fearing violence and violation if I say no. Unable to say no. It's not rape if I say yes to everyone, right? Whatever the choreography, still I stumble, apologetic, unyielding, 2 cursed feet. So please, don't ask me to dance. I'm unworthy of your tempo. Kisses planted along my neck, so cherished at times, render me lifeless, sobbing, slave to flashbacks. Please don't whisper sweet nothings into my ears. I'll only stumble and stutter in the swing. Twirl me by hand, lead me nevertheless. Realize I withhold my breath, unknowing, such a frail subject to fainting. I apologize for the absence of long, sexy legs. I've denied you a floor, a setting, hacked my legs instead, sewn together by sighing scars. My body is rippled with trauma. Twisted, collapsed knees, sobbing tees, condemned whore who never learned to walk properly. So please, my dear, don't request a dance from this crumb of a nightmare. Thank you. The theme of this festival really took me on a very personal note, because peace is something that I have been searching for. Home is something I've been searching for ever since I left my abusive family and cut off all ties with them when I was 18 years old. And I found that within the roof, within the structure of poetry, you know, you can address trauma, you can address hope, you can address and you can speak to a lot of things that you were unable to, you know, or at least I was unable to, you know, in that moment. So poetry for me has become this place of reconciliation, of hope, and of peace. So, you know, thank you for offering this platform and this ability to see peace in a way that's not necessarily seemingly so peaceful, but can bring peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anesce. And I'm so sorry, everyone. The drawbacks of working from home, the little disruption was by my daughter. So now next up, we have Ajay Varma Alluri. He's a bilingual writer and a translator from Karnataka, working between Telugu and Kannada. He has so far published Gagan Sindhu, a poetry collection, and several other noteworthy works in Tamil and Kannada translations. He was also awarded the D.R. Bendre Poetry Prize and has won several other awards. He's a student pursuing his MA in Comparative Literature from University of Hyderabad. Welcome, Ajay.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone, and my fellow poets. First of all, I'll be reading my poem in Telugu, followed by the English translations. My first poem is titled Kedari Pakshi. Kedari Pakshi, which means the bird of the desert. చిన్నప్పుడు రెక్కల్లేని రంగురంగుల పక్షొకటి కనురెప్పల కావలి దూరంలో ఎగురుతూ ఉంటే చూస్తుండిపోయానలా కనుమరుగయ్యే వరకు. ఎన్ని ఊళ్ళలు దాటిందో, ఏ మబ్బులడవిలో కట్టిన గూడు జాడను మరిచిపోయి ఎన్నిసార్లు మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ కట్టుకుందో, బహుశా ఇప్పటికీ అలా కడుతూనే ఉందో. ఆ పక్షి వస్తుందా, మళ్ళీ కనపడుతుందా, బతికే ఉందా తెలియదు. దాని రాక కొరకు ఇప్పటికీ కొట్టుకుంటూనే ఉంది రంగుల్లేని వేల రెక్కల మరొక పక్షి నా గుండె ఎడారిలో, నా గుండె ఎడారిలో. This is my first poem. Now my second poem is titled నెత్తురోడుతున్న పాదం, బ్లీడింగ్ ఫూట్. Now I'll read it in Telugu. నెత్తురోడుతున్న పాదం. నీ ఆత్మపు గులాబీలను నా అరచేతుల్లో మోస్తూ తిరిగాను ఊరూరు. నీ ఆత్మపు గులాబీలను నా అరచేతుల్లో మోస్తూ తిరిగాను ఊరూరు. వెనుతిరిగి చూస్తే నేలవడి నిండా నెత్తుటి పాదముద్రలే. నెప్పి లేకుండా నెత్తురోడుతున్న ఆ పాదం నాదే. నెప్పి లేకుండా నెత్తురోడుతున్న ఆ పాదం నాదే. Thank you. I request the translation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bleeding foot. With the roses of your soul in my palms, I have roved from place to place. As I turn back, I see the blood-soaked footprints all across the thighs of the land where I rest my head. The foot that bleeds painless is mine. This English translation is by Rohit and has been slightly edited by me. Hindi में लहू लुहान पैर, तुम्हारी आत्मा के गुलाबों को लिए मैं भटकता हूँ जगह जगह. देखता हूँ धरती की जंघाओं में खून से भरे पद चिन्ह. खून से भरे पद चिन्ह जो मेरे कदमों के हैं और मुझे दर्द भी नहीं होता. Translation by Rati Saxena ji. Next poem, please.
Thank you, Pooja ji. Now I'll be reading my last poem. It is titled Nenu Vellipoyaka, which literally means after I depart. నేను వెళ్ళిపోయాక ఈ గూడు నిశ్శబ్దమవుతుంది. ఏ గంధాన్ని మోసుకురాని గాలి మెల్లిగా సాగిపోతుంది. నేను వెళ్ళిపోయాక ఈ గూడు నిశ్శబ్దమవుతుంది. ఏ గంధాన్ని మోసుకురాని గాలి మెల్లిగా సాగిపోతుంది. పక్షులు ఏ సవ్వడి లేకుండా రెక్కలను పటపటాయిస్తాయి. పక్షులు ఏ సవ్వడి లేకుండా రెక్కలను పటపటాయిస్తాయి. కొమ్మకు కొమ్మ తగిలి మొలిచిన మౌనం నా పాదముద్రల్లో దాక్కుంటుంది. కొమ్మకు తగిలిన మొలిచిన మౌనం నా పాదముద్రల్లో దాక్కుంటుంది. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you. After I depart. After I depart, this roost will become silent. The air devoid of any fragrance shall continue in its slowness. The wings of the birds flutter without making a sound. The silence of the branches rubbing against one another hides in the footprints left behind. English translation by Rohit. हिंदी में, मेरे जाने के बाद ये घोंसला निशब्द हो जाएगा. सुगंध रहित मध्यम बयार चुपचाप गुजर जाएगी. मौन टहनियों की छुअन में अंकुरित होगा जो टकरा रही हैं आपस में. मौन टहनियों की छुअन में अंकुरित होगा जो टकरा रही हैं आपस में और मेरे छूटते हुए पद चिन्हों में जा छिपेगा. Beautifully translated by Rati Saxena ma'am. Thank you, Ajay, for bringing those such live images. You know, it is like poetry in painting in poetry. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Last poem.
I thank Rati.
Yes, please. Okay. So the last poet for the day today, as they say, last but not the least, is Vibharani Ji. She's a writer, playwright, folk art performer, film, TV, theatre actor, and works primarily in Hindi and Maithili. She has written 17 plays, 30 books, 2 films, 1 TV serial, and has been awarded more than 27 awards for her immense contributions to literature, theatre, and cinema. She uses reciting poems in cancer counseling and relief work as well. And she has published 2 books specifically focused at the promotion of Mithila culture. So welcome, Vibha ji, welcome to our stage.
Pranam to all of you, and I'm so grateful to Kritya and Rateji, Pooja, and the entire team for giving me this opportunity. I will not take much time, and I'll just read out my poems in Hindi and Maithili both. So my first poem is Chemo Ki Raat, Chemo Night. This I have written during my chemotherapy when it was going on, and that time when chemo was going on, I was not able to sleep 24 hours or 30 hours. So this is based on my experience. This poem is Chemo Ki Raat. Chemo ki raat, नींद की बारात, किसी और के साथ, अपने हाथ, सितारों की सौगात, उनसे हो रही बात मुलाकात, कल सुनेंगे सूरज का नात, धूप का गर्म स्नान, बिना घात, बिन प्रतिघात, फिल वक्त केमो की रात, परीक्षा के बाद. फिल वक्त केमो की रात, परीक्षा के बाद, भूखे का भात, रात और प्रात, छिड़ी है जंग, देखें कौन किसे देगा मात, तन की या निसर्ग की बात, दिन है 7, चक्र है 7, केमो की रात, थोड़ी ज्ञात, थोड़ी अज्ञात. Thank you. English translation can be read out.
I will read the English translation. Chemo night, a gift from the stars. Chemo night, sleep takes out a procession. With someone else, gift of stars comes in my possession. It's the gift from the stars, a meeting, a conversation. Tomorrow, we will listen to the sun song, bathe with the scorching light, without waiting, without repercussions. But for now, chemo night stretches out. A night of trail like a starved one's food, morning and night, there's a war. Let's see who wins, who loses, the body or nature. 7 days and 7 cycles, chemo night, a little strange. English translation by Nigat Gandhi. Next poem, please.
My next poem is also related with the cancer, which I say that I celebrate cancer, and it's about body shaming, that our society is very smart for body shaming, and all the time they find some excuses to shame the person, that they should be ashamed by their body. So especially for breast cancer patient, where their breast has been removed, they think, and it was given a feeling that they are now good for nothing. So it is poetry for hope and inspiration and celebration. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? क्या फर्क पड़ता है सीना सपाट हो या उभरा? क्या फर्क पड़ता है सीना सपाट हो या उभरा? चेहरा सुंदर हो या बिगड़ा? सर पे घने बाल हो या वो हो गंजा? जिंदगी से सुंदर गुदाज और यौवन में नहीं है कुछ भी. जिंदगी से सुंदर गुदाज और यौवन में नहीं है कुछ भी. आओ मनाए जश्न इस यौवन का, आओ मनाए जश्न इस जीवन का. Thank you.
Celebrating cancer. How does it matter if the breasts are flattened or full? If the face is beautiful or botched? Is there anything as captivating, sensuous, or youthful as life itself? Let's celebrate life's growing pains. Let's celebrate life. Thank you so much. Next poem, please.
Thank you, Pooja. And my next poem is in Maithili, and it's on war and peace. Shanti, peace, and war, yuddha. And when we ask for peace, it means that we are moving towards war. Om Shanti hai. Om Prithvi hai Shanti hai, Agni hai Shanti, Pavana hai Shanti, Gagana hai Shanti, Patal Shanti, Disha sab Shanti, Vriksha hai Shanti, Disha sab Shanti, Vriksha hai Shanti, Gulab hai Shanti, Alu hai Shanti, Baigan Shanti, Kela Shanti, Chiku Shanti, Gajar Shanti, Tomato Shanti, Dhaniya Shanti, Banaras Shanti, Bhopala Shanti, Delhi Shanti, Ghoda Shanti, Gadha Shanti, Vanar Shanti, Ullu Shanti, Kathua Shanti, Muzaffarpur Shanti, Asifa Shanti, Twinkle Shanti, Pulwama Shanti, Siachen Shanti, Pulwama Shanti, Siachen Shanti, Sansad Shanti, Vidhayika Shanti, Shasan Shanti, Prashasan Shanti, Gaumata Shanti, Kranti Shanti. नोटबंदी शांति है, लॉकबंदी शांति है, शाहीन बाग शांति है, किसान है शांति, हाईवे है शांति है, शमशान शांति, कोरोना है शांति, डेल्टा प्लस शांति, जीवन शांति है, शांति है, शांति शांति है, शांति है, शांति है, शांति है. जो शांति चाहे तो युद्ध कर, जो शांति चाहे तो युद्ध कर, जो युद्ध चाहे तो शांति कह, जो युद्ध चाहे तो शांति कह। राज्य से युद्ध पड़ोस में शांति है, राज्य से युद्ध पड़ोस में शांति, देश में युद्ध अमेरिका से शांति, देश में युद्ध अमेरिका से शांति। युद्ध न बूझोई छय क्रांति, युद्ध न बूझोई छय क्रांति। मौन में राखू नय कोनो भ्रांति है, मौन में राखू नय कोनो भ्रांति। अपन मिया अपन जोरू, अपन बकरी अपन गोरू, जो बाजब तठे हुन फोड़ू। अरे अपन मिया अपन जोरू, अपन बकरी अपन गोरू, नय बाजब तठे हुन फोड़ू। नय बाजब त शांति कहायब, नय बाजब त शांति कहायब। अहि शांति के क्रांति कहै छै, अहि शांति के क्रांति कहै छै, अहि क्रांति के भ्रांति कहै छै। भ्रांति में जीवी जिंदगी बने छै, शांति में जीवी मृत्यु बरै छै। भ्रांति में जीवी जिंदगी बने छै, शांति में जीवी मृत्यु बरै छै। युद्धम युद्धम युद्धम युद्धम, शांति है शांति, शांति है शांति। युद्धम युद्धम युद्धम युद्धम, शांति है शांति, शांति है शांति। अहाँ के मर्जी की बरै छी, अहाँ के मर्जी की बरै छी। जिंदगी जिंदगी जिंदगी जिंदगी, युद्धम युद्धम युद्धम युद्धम। शांति है शांति है शांति है शांति, शांति है शांति है। युद्धम युद्धम, जो शांति चाहे तो युद्ध कर, जो शांति चाहे तो युद्ध कर, जो युद्ध चाहे तो शांति कर, जो युद्ध चाहे तो शांति कर। ओम शांति है शांति है शांति है। Thank you so much. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present some of my poems in Hindi and Maithili, along with the translation of English.
Wow, what a wonderful session. विभा जी, आपने जो ये शांति का गीत गाया, मेरे तो अभी तक रोंगटे खड़े हुए हैं, अंदर तक रोंगटे खड़े होते हैं।
Thank you so much.
क्या आपने समा बांधा है, क्या समा बांधा है। Thank you very much. What a wonderful. So,
thank you.
This was fantastic session. Wonderful session. We could bring two major South Indian languages, Telugu and Tamil. It's very difficult to get Tamil poets, you know that? They don't like Hindi. Anyway, I'm joking it. So, we have Odeon poet, we have that. Then you know that from even Ashraf is our friend, but he brings Egypt, the whole country, in his blood, and he is half Korean also. So he was supported in getting the chief guest and all that. Because of him, we could able to invite Ko-un. So he suggests very good poets also. So And then Hasan is from Turkey. I have come to Turkey many times and I love Turkey very much. Yeah. And Anisha, you were there in my festival and I always loved your poetry. Periyanji, നന്നായിട്ട് പോയട്രി ഉണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ മലയാളമാണ്, പക്ഷെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും കാരണം തമിഴില് മിക്സ് ആണ്. അപ്പോ നിങ്ങളുടെ നല്ല കവിതകൾ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. വളരെ നന്ദി, വളരെ താങ്ക്സ്. ഓക്കെ, സോ പ്ലീസ് കം അഗെയിൻ ഓൾസോ. ഇനിയിപ്പോ നമ്മള് കൃത്യയിലെ തമിഴ് പോയിട്രി കൊണ്ടുവരണം. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kedar Ji. Thank you, Ajay. Ajay was not well, but he had brought beautiful poetry. Thank you, Pooja, for such a beautiful session. Very nicely you have taken. Thank you all. Thanks a lot. Thank you, audience and everyone. Love for Shanti for poetry. Shanti for it was.
We will be dreaming.
Wow, it was like this. We call it.
Our dream.
Now Ashraf will write a Shanti poem in Arabic. I'm sure that he has written very good Gandhi poetry. I'm sure that Ashraf is going to write Shanti poetry.
Thank you.
Kedarji, the poetry is very strong. I always love the Shahin Bagh. And he was actually, they are the real poets. So it was a wonderful session. And thanks to all of you for such a wonderful session. Thank you very much.
I speak.